right, guys, our favorite time of the week again. I want to answer a few of your questions. Sagar, what's up first?
Number 1 from Austin Wishart. What are the best things to do in DC? Hey guys, my wife wants me to take me on a trip to celebrate my law school graduation in May. Congratulations, Austin. We've talked about visiting DC in the past, and I think it'd be a perfect excuse to do so. What are your favorite things to do or see in DC? Restaurants, museums, monuments, anything random off the beaten path? Thanks in advance. Love, Austin and Emily.
I don't have anything off the beaten path. I love the normal, like, walking around the mall,
Yeah, if you've
seeing
never
the
been here, you have
monuments.
to do that.
It is beautiful. The monuments are beautiful.
May's a good
walking
time
around
to
the
come,
tidal
too.
basin,
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff. I actually recommend some of the, like, traditional DC tourist stuff.
Yeah, especially if you're coming in May, it won't be too hot yet.
Oh, it'll be,
It's a great
May
time
is
to walk.
Beautiful.
My
Beautiful.
favorite memorial, I was just telling you the other day, the FDR Memorial, which is on the tidal basin.
Tidal
A lot of
basin.
people walk past it. It's a beautiful memorial, really nice. Museums, Air and Space apparently just reopened and has really, I actually haven't been to the new exhibit. Apparently that's cool. I've always loved the Natural History Museum. I think it's a really good museum. Personally, not a fan of the American History Museum. I think it's very poorly done, but you know, some people like it. It always makes me sad that the First Lady's dresses exhibit is like the most viewed one there.
What's wrong with that? I like that.
Because it is more important shit in American history than
but you're
First Lady's
bringing
dresses in China. Whatever.
It's
All right.
cool. It's
It's-
cool to see the fashion.
It's
art.
It's consumer driven. I'll just leave it at that. Not history driven. Restaurants, I don't know. It depends on what type of food you like. I just went to a restaurant I really like called Albi. So there you go. That's
I
off the
actually
top.
really love this place that's right here, Ottoman Taverna.
Oh, right across. Yeah.
It's
Ottoman
so
Taverna.
freaking good. It's right
Yeah.
by our street. It's
Yeah.
so good. I think it has like
I
a
have been
Michelin
there.
star. It's not crazy expensive though. I
Okay,
mean, it's
good.
not like cheap, but
Check it out.
It's delicious. If you like that kind of cuisine, it's like my favorite kind of
If
cuisine.
you like sushi, Sushi Nakazawa. All right, next question.
Oh, really?
But
I haven't
that's
found a good sushi
I'll take
place
you there.
yet.
That's a top tier
Nice.
spot. All right.
Awesome. Okay, next question. Different perspectives as business owners. This is from Monica Dougherty. Now that Breaking Points has completed a full calendar year and 18 months in total, I'm wondering if being business owners has changed your perspectives on anything. When I made the leap from salaried worker to a small business owner, my perspectives about taxes, regulations, and business ownership in general changed. Have you experienced something similar? Love your show. Thank you for having the courage to build something amazing. Thank you. Monica, what do you say, Sagar?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a pain in the ass. And I mean, I guess the trade-off is that we have total and complete freedom, so I'm not saying it's not worth it.
Definitely.
But that said, I mean, we spend a lot of time having to worry about all of this, and it has made me more sympathetic. Here's the thing. I'm not saying I believe in no taxes, no regulation, and all of that. But I don't think it is fair that we start this business and, you know, we want to focus on the content and all of this, and, you know, having to do business like on the internet, there are like all 50 states tax codes that we have to be in compliance with, and we have to pay some big dollar accounting firm like a lot of money in order to handle all of that. And it is genuinely something I've realized, like you cannot figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
Which you're floating an entire private industry and you're like, should that industry just really exist? Like conceptually to me, I don't think so. I think it probably should be easy enough. Like let's say you're a normal entrepreneur, small business, you should be able to figure it out relatively easily, but I don't think it is possible. You know, you do have to pay these private rents to companies like QuickBooks and to payroll systems and to all, like, should it really be that hard? At the other hand, I've never heard I don't know a better alternative. So it just seems like everybody's saddled here, but I get it now. I really do. It's a pain.
In another life, I was actually a CPA.
Yeah.
I never did like direct tax work, but obviously I like had to study for those exams. And so I was very acquainted with how insanely complex our tax code is. And so I'd say it's just sort of hardened some of the things I already thought, which is, listen, part of the reason it's so complex is because all of these different interests have gotten their little like loopholes and special deals and whatever. So you literally need an army of accountants to know how you fit into that regime and like how best to navigate it.
Right.
And then I think there are some pieces, the 50-state sales tax, that is probably the single most complex part of our accounting. I don't know if other podcasters even bother really trying to do this. Or
Well, we
they
do it
just-
because we want to be in compliance with the law.
We want to be in compliance.
Yeah.
We don't want there ever to be a question that we're not paying the full amount of what we owe. We're not trying to be skeezy or get out of anything. So we're trying to do this really the right way. But, you know, we're fortunate that we have enough revenue here where it's, you know, not a big hit to pay accountants to be able to navigate all of this because, yeah, there's no way that I would be able to figure this out myself, even as a former CPA. So yeah, I guess that's my thing. There are other countries that I know on the individual income tax level do this way better, where it's like you literally just get a message to your phone of like, look good for your taxes.
Yeah.
Click this and you're basically filed. The personal income tax thing, way too complex here and insane, and props up an entire industry that is both well-funded and well-networked in DC and exerts their power and influence. So
100%.
no doubt about it. All right, next question.
Number 3 from Dan Haddix. This one is for me. Saagar, for years now, you've talked about everyone needs to lose weight and get healthier via exercise. I didn't say everyone. Anyway. However, on Monday's show, you admitted in an offhand comment that an overweight person successfully losing weight and keeping it off via diet and exercise has the same rate as kicking heroin. I'm wondering how you square those two things in your head. How can you advocate for diet and exercise being the best way to lose weight when it has such a proven and high failure rate? Well, actually, I don't think that that's true. What you're talking about, the failure rate, is the human being and the individual. And just because it's hard doesn't mean that it is worth just like throwing up your hands and doing nothing or injecting drugs into yourself for once a week. There's a guy I really recommend listening to. His name is Ethan Suplee. Some of you might know him. He was the Remember the Titans actor, the guy who was like 500 pounds. He lost over 400 pounds on and off. And he's talked about how he's one of these people who is very successful. He looks completely different now. He's like totally jacked.
Do you have surgery or no?
No surgery. He did it all completely naturally. He said you kind of have to reform your identity, your relationship with food. He had a lot of emotional eating complexes and all that stuff. So the point is like that's not about diet and exercise. That's about doing some work, quote unquote, on yourself. So I'm not saying it's easy. The environment is actually basically set up for you to fail.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you should just throw up your hands and do nothing. I just got a message from a guy yesterday who was listening to our podcast. He messaged me in August saying that he took our advice to heart around being obese and that he is down 55 pounds. And
wow,
he sent me some proof. So I'm not going to share his name because I didn't ask his permission. But it can happen. And let's say you take down 55 and you gain back 35 and you're still down 15. So it's still a good thing. I hope that doesn't happen to him though. Anyway.
All right, next question. This is an interesting one from Matthew Jorgensen Jr. Housing and student loans. Hi, I'm a 28-year-old with $10,000 left in student debt. I'm currently a renter in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, with hopes to buy soon. Do you think that if the courts uphold President Biden's debt cancellation, home ownership would rise amongst millennials like me? I don't think there's any doubt about it. There's a lot of research to show that we've talked here about how millennials achieve life milestones in every way, including home ownership, at later dates in their lives than previous generations. And a significant part of that is the debt burden on millennials. And a significant part of that debt burden is student loan debt. There have also been other research findings that business formation and entrepreneurship would be higher if there wasn't this massive crushing weight of student loan debt on top of people as well. Because of course, understandably, if you're stressed about being able to pay off this debt, it makes you less able and gives you less flexibility in order to make a whole variety of life choices and move forward with some of your goals and aspirations. So I don't think there's any doubt about it.
Definitely. Also, congrats on being in Milwaukee. I'm looking at your real estate market right now, and it looks pretty nice.
It's not bad?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like you can get a very, very nice home in Milwaukee for a sticker price of $479,000. And then if you consider that over a 30 or more, I mean, with the rates currently, it's not good.
Rates have come down a bit, though.
You wouldn't have to have a terrible, let's see, what would the down payment on that be? I guess $50,000, which it's still pretty high.
That's a lot, yeah.
That's all right. I take it back.
It's not. I mean, it's crazy what we consider reasonable prices now. I mean,
yeah,
the
I know you're right.
home price is $500,000, which just blows.
20 years ago, I would have been like, oh, 400. I'd be like, that's insane.
Insane,
yeah.
right?
Now I'm like, oh wow, that's low. And
reasonable.
You're talking to people who live in an area where the average home price is like a $1.5 million. So, okay.
True.
Last question. Reading and writing about politics from Kyle Jones. Reading and writing are my biggest hobbies, even if it's for myself. I stopped reading and writing about politics years ago because it wasn't fulfilling. Consuming politics was affecting my mental health and sense of purpose. I've been thinking about trying it again, though. Any advice on reading and crafting writing when it comes to politics and news? How to be original and unique without regurgitating what prominent people have already said? That's a great point. Thanks for the great show. I don't know. That's a really hard question. What do you think? I think you just got to...
I think you just got to do it.
Try it out. Yeah. And
I think you just got to
evolve with the times. And I mean, we've been doing this for a long time. Weren't perfect at it on day one.
No.
So yeah.
Kyle talks about how when he first started his show, he really modeled himself after Cenk Uygur and Bill Maher. And you can watch his early episodes and see how he's adopting their mannerisms and stuff. And looking back on it, obviously you feel uncomfortable because you see how much you've grown and progressed.
Yes.
But it takes you a while. And you may need some of those like role models that you kind of model yourself after, and yeah, it sounds like you're kind of echoing them or whatever, before you really fully develop your own voice and your own confidence to assert different points of view and different ideas that aren't already out there. I mean, you know, I guess it's a cliche advice, but there really is no substitute for just practicing. Think how hard it was when we first started writing monologues.
That was hard, man.
It was like, it was hard. Now I'm not gonna say it's easy, but when I sit down to write that monologue, the process is so much smoother, and I think they're better too.
Yes.
So, and hopefully more, you know, original. I guess the one thing other piece of advice I'd give here is, you know, don't just think about the day-to-day horse race. Try to tackle some of those bigger trends that are shaping the environment, whether it's labor, economics, tech, finance, whatever is kind of a particular passion for you. Dig into that and think deeply about those bigger trends. And I think that's a good way to be more innovative than just having a hot take on whatever the like thing of the day is in the political horse race.
Totally agree. It's a big mistake a lot of new people make whenever they're starting out. All right, guys, we love you. We'll see you later.